And these forefathers left us great legacy. They left us wealth. They also promised us freedom and justice for all.
Perhaps you didn't hear what I said. What I said is this: of one man, one car, one man, one house.
The journey has not all been rosy. We've had good times and we've had bad times. But through it all, we have been resilient, holding on to one another's hand in our diversity, through all our struggles and our accomplishments. Edanye duklola lo, duklola tefenola lenuto melo. Edanye stewa takpepe menola, bovito, alo duko meviko, abenye kle wene. Ele be mianya be Ghana de kako nyemia de duko. Onyemia fe dodasi. Be mia le agwe wanye duko sesen. Duko dengo. Wanye duko trako. La keke me duko katan dome. Let love lead.
Mama yenya, nyaye betu mi biara. Yemfambuwa yeman Ghana. Asana yako, asana yako.
Yenana numo, omoye biko. Enyanume,
Enjume nyosu yansu. Seyebe yebi, biatu wasu.
Our forefathers left us a great legacy. Black star of hope, shine on. We are one people with one hope and destiny. Land of integrity and smile. Love is all that we need. Let us all play our part. Let us come together as one. Yeah. Into Mumia grow, Yana Mame, Mumma Yamfa or dog, Yamuya, Yasum Gentina, no Nikami Mama Baba, no Nikami Baba, Eya Shong. We need love, we need peace, I need Bokome, I need Bokome. All we need is love. All we need is love. Someone be and free.
Do not love me so much. And no me bebre, abusia for den be obi aka cho se me no ne bebre. Me se be ye se abusu mienu ne de. Ye hwesa sini e wo TV3 so. Eye 8 p.m. bia. Do not love me so much and asa endo me bebre sini ya ye yi e wo TV3 so no. E kasa e fa do fo mienu bi ho. Na sa do fo mienu e ye nel. E na afa ragni sa afa ni wo ma to don tentamu. Na so emfa ho ene wo dra e wo afa ni ntem no. Enti ase ya ene wo no mo ntino o awaja ye no. Aba ama mofra na ye wo mu no. Wobia ese wo famienu akọ channel so say awabija ye na chire no wo baba baako emfie dunu machire no na wawie e dia fanu no baba bankuo mu na hwe India manura ni ade enti no yesi sa bre die aware fa wo magya no wo mo nhwummom wo hwa eden e ne beba yesa sa fanu yi wo bodo wo ho papa do not love me so much enom bebre e kata fa wawie empenate e na afesania sa wabija ye badofo ntemu a esese mo fra wo mu no wo mo esiesie channel so say e ye tuada potifiada 8 p.m. Our TV3. So TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live on TV3 with me, Martin Esidu Date. Coming up within the next 1 hour. President Akufo-Addo admits clamping down on galamsey is a complex fight but is surmountable. Meanwhile, the galamsey operator has dared the president and government on its fight to end galamsey. Pressure mounts on Shraj to investigate the bribery allegation in Parliament after questions have been raised about the Jogate report. Meanwhile, the Speaker is expected to rule on the matter today. Only 4 out of 17 ambulances operating in the Ashanti region are working. We will assess the impact of emergency services service delivery in the region as this news has come in. And later on the foreign front, oil workers in Nigeria begin strike over labor agitations. We have details of all these stories and more, including business, entertainment, and sports, all lined up for you. Stay with us. Well, thank you very much for staying with us. Let's settle down for the details of our stories. And we go to the House of Legislature now, where the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Okwe, is expected to make a ruling on the Jogate Committee report on the bribery allegation that was leveled against the First Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Joe Osei-Wusu. Last week, the committee found Mahama Ayariga, who is Member of Parliament for Boku Central, guilty of contempt after weeks of investigating the allegation. His apology, as recommended by the committee, has generated some controversy as the Speaker said it lacked remorse. Reports are also arrived that he has submitted a written apology to the Speaker and may be read on the floor later today. Our reporter Catherine Frimpoma joins us live from the House of Parliament to let us know what's happening right now.
Began at about 11:30 this morning, but after the correction of votes and proceedings, the Speaker had to adjourn the sitting because the various reports from the Finance Committee that they need to assist members in debating and discussing various papers that need to be laid this morning were not ready. The very important papers that they have been discussing this morning has to do with the proposed formula for the distributing of the District Assembly's Common Fund, as well as the proposed formula for the disbursement of the National Health Insurance Fund and the proposed formula for the distribution of the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Also, there is a loan agreement that the finance minister has brought to the House for approval, as well as the report of the finance committee on the energy sector levies. That bill is currently at the consideration stage. It was laid on Friday, taken through the various processes, and when they got to the consideration stage, Parliament had to adjourn, and so they are waiting for all the reports on these bills and papers so that it will assist the House in making the various decisions. But this morning also we have been anticipating the Speaker of Parliament to give his final verdict on the bribery allegation saga that has implicated Honorable Mahama Ayariga as having been in contempt of the House. We all know what happened last Thursday when he was asked to apologize to the House, and so what we are picking up is that the Speaker is likely to give his final verdict on that issue today. We don't know what exactly it will be, but rumors are that maybe he may be suspended or some harsher punishment, as some people have been calling for. Also, vetting is also ongoing. 6 people expected to be vetted today by the appointment committee, all happening here in the Parliament House. So that is happening so far. We will be updating you as and when any new development comes up. Catherine Frimpoma from the Parliament House of Ghana, over to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Catherine Frimpoma. She is TV3's parliamentary correspondent. So she's pitched camp in Parliament, whatever comes up there following the allegations of bribery, and whether or not the Speaker will be able to give his ruling today, we'll bring it to you. Let's stay in the House there, though, because TV3 has managed to identify the cause of the brawl in Parliament on Thursday night following the release of the Jogate report, which was read that evening. Some allegations were leveled against the House by Mahama Ayariga. In this video, the Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for Mensha South, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is seen making gestures suggestive of lunacy towards another member of the House. It is unclear who it was targeted at, but the Ningo Pram Member of Parliament, Sam George, has been reported as saying that the Mensha South Member of Parliament rained insults on Alhassan Suhini, who is a minority member of Parliament, and that escalated the brawl. So watch this. All right, so we are leaving that to you, the viewer, to judge. But certainly we will see how it pans out in the coming days, because that's an issue that the minority seem to want to take up. And whatever it is, some have described it as unparliamentary and unhonorable, as the members of the House are expected to be. But we'll leave that to your judgment and see how it unfolds in the coming days. Let's stay in Parliament and shift to the issue about the bribery allegations. Some people are saying that Parliament investigating itself is likely to have, you know, some hidden agenda or have certain things not coming out clear. Others are calling for an autonomous body to do the investigation. Listowell Nana Poku is a private citizen who has petitioned the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, over the bribery allegations, and he prefers that SHRAJ takes over that investigation. We have him in studio. I want to put a few questions to him and see why he thinks that SHRAJ would have been an appropriate body to handle that investigation. Good afternoon, Listowell. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Martin.
To start with, is it just the issue of the bribery that you want SHRAJ to investigate, or all the other reports of bribery and corruption alleged about Parliament that you want them to take a look at?
Well, I would have to say good afternoon to your cherished viewers and just make it very short. I mean, it's just a very simple exercise. Over the few years, there has been this form of perception in the public domain, largely, that seems to suggest that our Parliament House is corruptible. And these allegations have been raised, by not mere people, but high people with high repute in society. Mm-hmm. One of them happened to be a former member of Parliament, PC Apiofori. And the recent ones have been, Professor Stephen Adem-Mensah and some other, credible and well-learned fellows in our society. And after this issue popped up, I was expecting Parliament, as it were, to do what would have been much, much more credible. But Parliament resorted to putting the cart before the horse. It was just a simple thing to do. There's been an allegation. First thing first. Before Parliament alters anything, Parliament must have gone into the matter to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of the matter. Now, this is Parliament writing to the public and giving examples of why we should believe that the matter has everything to do with, frivolousness. And in their own words, Madam Keitaro had expressed that the matter was frivolous and that it was vexatious and that Ghanaians should disregard that matter. And immediately, I just, upon hearing that news, decided that we get a body that is neutral, very independent and unbiased, who has no interest in that which goes on in Parliament, to just, get into the matter and, as it were, investigate the matter into the, the nethermost part of it, so that Ghanaians are able to know what really the issues are. Okay,
so you are looking at the broader allegation of corruption leveled against Parliament
and that of the current one.
The current one. But focusing on the current one, the Jogate Committee seem to have done some extensive job, or you think they have not?
Well, I think it will be in your description, but I have seen a work not done, in the sense that the Jogate Committee was very much skewed into having just a narrowed, stage to manage. Now, if you have a committee that is supposed to do a fact-finding, and this committee is now telling the general public that we have a set of people to call. I mean, it should be just easier for a fact-finding committee to be able to even open windows to the general public, to the nation at large. For all someone outside Parliament.
Maybe their terms of reference, they are to focus on this particular issue.
And that is where the issue is wrong. What is the terms of reference? I mean, what are we are trying to unveil the truth. That's all. That is all it's supposed to be.
Okay. In concluding, we are told that you've written to Shraj. Have they gotten back to you?
Well, Shraj, in the first petition I sent, wrote back to me on the 17th of February. And in their argument, I was against, what they had put on. They had mentioned that natural justice will have it that two institutions, and that is the two public institutions, don't investigate one subject. But I was against, because I had initially, situated my argument based on one fact, that, Nemo Veshua Kosaswa, he who is being alleged to have done, a wrongdoing, going into the matter to investigate that same matter, being his prosecutor, being the accused, and also being his judge. It will not bring anything. And so I have everything to do with this thing to make sure Shraj is able to do a very credible investigation, unbiased, and somewhat, give Ghanaians, because you see, the whole thing, the issue, boils down to...
We would hope to see how Shraj takes up this issue.
They will do a good job.
In the coming days.
Shraj has investigated the executive arm of government, and they are capable of investigating the legislature. Very easy.
All right, we'll leave it here and see how, the coming days, we are still waiting for Parliament itself to comment, but then if we hear of anything from Shraj, we'll let the viewers know. We've been speaking with Listowel Nana Poku. He has petitioned Shraj to look into the allegation of bribery in Parliament. This is still Midday Live on TV3. Thank you very much, Listowell. Let's turn our attention to some other stories now. The minority members of Parliament, that is the Energy Committee in Parliament, are questioning the government and saying that it has abrogated the Ameri deal. If it is true, then that is a fraudulent move, or has alleged by a committee set up by the Energy Ministry. According to the former Minister of Power, Dr. Kwabena Donko, members have been forced to react to the leaked report because the reputation of key actors in the erstwhile administration is at stake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the government entered into a contract with Ameri Energy as a developer. The developer carries all the risk of the project, and whoever the developer brings us an EPC contractor or subcontractor is of no consequence except where the contract states that the client must approve the subcontractor, which is not the case in this build, own, operate, and transfer agreement. The report claimed in page 7E that due diligence was not done. In an emergency situation, the ministry was happy to leave due diligence to JP Morgan, the international financial giant that confirmed the standby letter of credit. JP Morgan only agreed to confirm the standby letter of credit after their own due diligence.
All right, so let's turn our attention to some other stories now. We'll bring you more details on what has transpired in Parliament in our subsequent bulletins, but let's go to the seat of government now. And President Akufo-Addo has admitted the galamsey menace is complex and its fight a Herculean one. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of his tour of the Ashanti region over the weekend, the president said that though complex, it is surmountable, assuring that government is devoted to dealing with it once and for all.
One of some complexity. You see how widespread it is, the forces and interests involved in the whole galamsey phenomenon. I don't think we're going to be able to deal with it effectively by piecemeal measures. We need a comprehensive policy, which may even involve legislation to deal with it. And that is what my government is working on right now. Sooner rather than later, that policy will be outlawed, and you will have an opportunity to examine its effectiveness. But it is a major priority for us. We're working on it. And as I say, sooner rather than later, the policy for dealing with this phenomenon will be outlawed. But I promise you, it is going to be comprehensive, and it is going to be with the objective of dealing with this phenomenon once and for all in our country.
All right, so that's President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He says, yes, they can fight it, but it's going to be quite a tough fight. And we want to put some questions to two people who have expressed some interest in what the president has said so far. And joining us via Skype is Richard Elima. He is the Executive Director for Center for Social Impact, and we want to put a few questions to him. Richard, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us. To start with, the president, at least since assuming office, has been quite categorical and said that yes, they will fight the galamsey menace, but has also indicated that it's going to be a tough one, looking at how widespread it is. You think that is a call strong enough coming from the first gentleman of the land?
Well, I think to the extent that we got the president to make that comment to express his government's willingness to deal with the problem. I believe it is a step in the right direction, and we can only hope that in the coming days we will see some concrete action on the ground to deal with the problem.
All right, and going forward, what do you think government approach should be in dealing with this holistically?
Well, first of all, we need to have a basket of solutions to the problem. In the past, we have only used one approach, that is to use the military against these galamsey operators. But we need a much broader approach. And when I talk of broader approach, first of all, let's look at the interests involved. There are those who are doing galamsey as, as a means of livelihood in the communities, more or less like artisanal mining. There are those who are doing it as a business, and then we have the foreigners who are also into it. So when you segment these different interests, then you will be able to apply the needed solution to each of them. So for instance, for those who are doing it for livelihood reasons, it's basically because of the unemployment situation in the communities. We expect government to come up with a comprehensive alternative livelihood program that will absorb these youth and dissuade them from doing galamsey. For those who are doing it as for business purposes, I mean, let's also understand that there are Ghanaians who have money and they want to do genuine mining. So can we help them secure the license to do it properly? Can the EPA and the Minerals Commission come in and regulate their operations so that they do not do any further damage to the environment? And then finally, we have these foreigners who are coming to do mining. They are doing it illegally. I mean, the law doesn't allow it. So for such group of people, we can use the military to get them off. So these baskets of solutions can, if adopted by the government, can address the problem sustainably.
Right. And my final question to you would be, looking at the impact it has already had on communities, what role can these communities play in ensuring that the people who undertake such illegality are smoked out and dealt with decisively by the law?
I think it is important to empower community people. They need to be empowered. And one way of empowering them is to probably go back and look at our law. Do communities have a say in whether mining goes on in a community or not? Currently, the answer is no. But if we adopt the free, prior, informed consent, then communities will be empowered so that whenever a mining company is coming into a community, whether it is a large-scale company or a small-scale company or a galamsey, the communities will then decide whether to accept the company or not. In the case of the galamsey, the communities have to understand that the short-term benefit of galamsey, it's not sustainable. They need to have that understanding. And once that understanding is drummed home, I'm sure that they will form the best bulwark against galamsey. I mean, they live with the people the galamsey operators, the community people live with them. So they can drive them away if we so desire. Okay. So I will advocate that we empower the communities so that they can, they can fight the galamsey menace on behalf of government.
Right. We are grateful for your insights and your thoughts, Richard Elima. He is the Executive Director for Center for Social Impact Studies, and giving us his position on issues regarding the galamsey and the promise the President has made that he will at least initiate the fight against galamsey and how they intend to come up with the strategy of fighting galamsey. We've been joined in studio also by Nana Sapong Ajimanbedu. He's a member of Occupy Ghana, and they have in recent times released a statement to join the fight against galamsey. And I think that I am already liking the nationwide concern being shown towards how we can fight the galamsey menace. We'll be putting a few questions to him, how they as a pressure group can either put pressure on the executive or probably the legislature, or we as individuals to fight galamsey. Before that, though, an interesting video is going viral, or has gone viral. A middle-aged man claiming to be an illegal miner has warned the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to initiate moves to stop the illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. The man, who is seen in a video that we'll be showing to you in a bit, is saying that he is an illegal miner and that the president must think of how his move or decision will affect the livelihood of many families who depend on the galamsey activities. Let's watch this.
Amount for man, amount for you, I just we are no more. I'm not see him in I'm not with that. So I'm moving on when you see us. You're moving that. Drop off for your night. I can say I was ready. That's wrong. I'm not Wabano. You're big. I'm far about my zebra.
All right, so I am taken aback by that. Nana, thank you for joining us. That is someone who is clearly defiant and says that they would ensure that they go on with this because that is their only source of livelihood. How does this hit Occupy Ghana, and at what point do you think that pressure must be made bare on such people?
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon to your viewers. And I'm disgusted by that video. I saw it last week, and it's really got me personally annoyed about this whole thing. And I think without hesitation, this gentleman should be invited by national security. And the question I would also put is that, is it gold for a few or water for many? That's how we should tackle this galamsey issue. Are we going to serve the selfish interests of such people, or are we going to save the livelihoods of many millions of Ghanaians who depend on the water that these people are destroying? And we at Occupy Ghana, we are incensed by the rate at which galamsey, it's going. We're seeing it as a threat to our very own existence as people, because if we continue like this and allow people to, for the reasons of selfish interest, keep on destroying our water bodies and our forests, it could come to a point where we'll be facing drought and famine, because now the lands, as is going on right now, they are destroying the lands with chemicals, polluting it with chemicals, which won't sustain plant life. They are destroying the water bodies, which is killing aquatic life. And already we hear in Takrady there's serious water rationing. It's not like they don't have water, but there is a lot of water, but Ghana water can't treat the water. So we must all show some concern and show some alarm.
What would Occupy Ghana's submission be if, for instance, the president asks you, maybe he's taking inputs on how to address the issue? What would the input from Occupy Ghana?
Yeah, first of all, he should ban all forms of illegal mining, whether large scale or small scale. All forms of illegal mining should be banned. That
would be difficult because we have the legitimate mining, which is small scale.
Yeah,
they are actually a registered, body that manages or handles.
Yeah, they are registered, but the ones which are not registered, they should be clamped down. Okay. And should be stopped.
So
immediately.
the illegal
one. Okay. And the illegal one is what we call galamsey, because we know the illegal one is a small scale mine, which is, and even with those registered ones, the regulation should apply to them, because looking at the value chain, some of the legal ones are buying from the illegal ones. Therefore, they are sort of funding their activities. So those ones also should be looked at the value chain, where these illegal guys are able to sell off their gold to the various people, which ends up coming to precious minerals. That means that the country itself is indirectly purchasing illegal gold from these illegal miners. Then also, as we said, the laws should be enforced. Okay. I mean, the Minerals Act, it stipulates that any person who is involved in illegal mining should be fined about 36,000 cedis or jailed for a minimum of 5 years. Any foreigner should be fined 360,000 or be jailed for about 20 years. And if you're a Ghanaian who is supporting an illegal foreigner in this illegal venture, you should be also be fined about 24,000 and be jailed between 5 to 10 years. Okay. So it's all about reinforcement.
So we have the laws.
We have the laws.
But then the enforcement
is the problem. And there are people in the communities. I visited Takwa last year myself. I spoke to some galamsey kingpins, you know, and they say that for them, they deal with working on the land. Okay. You know, but the people destroying the water bodies are those who do it in collaboration with some of these Chinese guys. And they do not endorse it. But when people go and report, opinion leaders report to the police. Opinion leaders come in to beg on behalf of these people destroying water bodies. So we shouldn't allow these people, you know, to have their leeway. The law enforcement bodies must also, and some of them are even implicated in these activities of the galamsey, because obviously these machines don't get there by magic.
Their own. Certainly, people bring them in, and that is where some people have raised concerns about the role of politicians, traditional authorities, and
the law enforcement agencies,
religious leaders, and people who are supposed to be enforcing the law themselves, policemen, soldiers, who are involved in this. So the fight, like the president said, is going to be Herculean, but then it must start from somewhere. And we at TV3 are already on a sustained fight, a sustained campaign to ensure that we get to the bottom of this, to get the president, the government, and every single Ghanaian helping in the fight against galamsey. We want to leave it here for now. Nana Sapon Jimambedu, he's a member of Occupy Ghana, and he's been sharing his position, or Occupy Ghana's position, on how they also intend to help in the fight against galamsey. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
thank you too.
Together we win as a nation against such an illegality. This is still Midday Live on TV3. We'll bring you What Do You Think Now? And then when we come back, we have a lot more in line for you. Stay with us.
Weeks after the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources gave galamsey operators an ultimatum, the president has promised his government will deal with the galamsey phenomenon once and for all. What do you think?
Looking at the destruction of our water bodies, it's time that we find a final solution to this galamsey menace in the country.
When you go to the villages now, the youth are not ready to go to school. When they gather something small from the village, the only thing they know is to run away to this galamsey thing. So they don't focus in the education. So it's making the youth lose in their education. So I think it's a nice thing if the government wants to stop them.
Our leaders, especially the politicians and the chiefs, they are part of the issue. So how do you expect a politician to stop his work? That is where he gets his money from, to do his politics. And the chief too. That's where they get the money from. So as for the galamsey, the least we talk about it, the better it is. I don't think it will end. Because the big men are behind it.
All right, this is still Midday Live on TV3. Do also let us know what your thoughts are on our fight against galamsey, and we'll let the rest of the world know about it. My Twitter handle is @NewsieMartin. Let me know. I'll let the world know. We'll be back shortly with more. Stay with us.
Nya the new Star Times modern combo decoder bi. Ne boy 140 Ghana cedis per albania over 100 international satellite channels. Ahwe busumi bia no 15 Ghana cedis per ana ubetua. Ani we betime esi was Star Time world nko so. Joining the new digital era. Now ni abusua enya de ekoso bi so fa so.
Star Times, Star Times, Star Times. Star Times only on Star Times.
Star Times, change your view.
Watch New Day every weekday at 6 a.m. New Day is brought to you by Givers Capsules.
Business, the heartbeat of every economy. The booze and the chairs of the stock market shows who's making profit and who's crumbling under the harsh business environment.
On Business Focus, we crowd out the noise for you to make informed decisions on your investments. I'm Pakwisi Asare and I talk business.
Business Focus, Mondays, 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Assad Tech Roofing, Acacia Health Insurance.
Everything you need to know. Captivating. Reliable.
President Mahama, who addressed a Deborah of chiefs and people of
credible and breaking news. All at your fingertips.
Who's found Asamoah Gyan? Super finish!
Being on top of the news has never been easy. Visit us at www.3news.com for all your reliable news. 3 News, news at your fingertips.
Thank you very much for staying with TV3. This is still Midday Live. Let's turn our attention to some other stories. Now, Road Safety Management Services has deployed 2 tow trucks, I must say, tow trucks to start a pilot national towing project from the 1st of May this year. The national towing project is aimed at removing broken down vehicles that may cause or that can cause accidents on the country's roads.
Figures from the police indicate that some 2,890 road crashes were recorded from January to March this year, while 2,830 road accidents happened during the same period last year. In both cases, over 426 deaths and 2,523 injuries were recorded, putting the rate of road accidents on the country's road at alarming proportions. The National Towing Project was first introduced in 2013, however, it failed to take off following disagreements between the National Road Safety Commission and Road Safety Management Services. The pilot program is being rolled out by Road Safety Management Services Limited in collaboration with National Road Safety Commission, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA) and the Ghana Police Service.
There were challenges, but as we speak now, all the bottlenecks have been resolved and the police MTTD is on board. We also have the National Road Safety Commission on board and we are also on board. So I can assure you that it wouldn't fail this time.
According to the National Road Safety Commission, fatalities from accidents indicate that 22% of deaths from road crashes in Ghana are caused by disabled, accident and broken down vehicles on roads. With the deployment of the tow trucks, stakeholders in the project hope to clamp down and manage broken down vehicles on Ghana's roads before a full-scale deployment is done on May 1, 2017.
From May, we're going to have the full deployment of these vehicles as well as motorbikes and ambulances to monitor the roads to ensure that cars that get broken down on those roads are towed within a minimum 2 hours. And if it's just within urban areas, just within an hour, it has to be towed.
All right, so let's go to the Ashanti region now because 10 ambulances have broken down in the Ashanti region, threatening emergency health service delivery. Only 4 ambulances are currently operating in the 17 stations across the region. TV3's Ashanti regional correspondent William Evans Inkum has visited the garage where these faulty ambulances have been parked and has joined us for more. Evans, this is quite surprising. What else have you found out?
mere oratory. Now, each of these ambulances, on the average, attends to 15 emergency cases, and we have 10 broken down here. So let's do a simple mathematics. Multiply 15 by the number of ambulances that we see here, and we are talking about 150 emergency cases calling at the moment, but with no response. If you want further analysis, multiply 150 cases or emergency cases by the number of days we have in the month of April. And we are talking about 30 days, because April has 30 days. So if by the close of this month nothing is done about the situation here, and if you are to multiply 150 cases recorded each day by the number of days we have in the month of April, we are talking about a total of 4,500 emergency cases not likely to be attended to because the ambulances have broken down. In fact, inside the ambulance, and I think the camera will follow me so that we have a clear picture about how dire the situation is as far as this particular report is concerned. Inside each ambulance is equipped with enough medical materials to at least give first aid to any patient. Apart from the medical materials that you see in the ambulance, it also has, each ambulance also has 3 emergency medical technicians. Now, these guys attend to patients, give them first aid before they arrive at the hospital. So even before they arrive at the hospital, about 30 to 40% of the problem has been already solved, and that is life-saving. So we ask, with this particular situation happening, or with what we are saying, my question is very simple. As a signatory to the SDGs, that is 3, which is particular about ensuring health care and well-being of the people, my question is, as a country, will we be able to achieve this particular target? Your guess is as good as mine. From Ejoso, my name is William Evans Inkum, TV3 News.
All right, very disturbing pictures there from the Ashanti region. We'll try and find out from the National Ambulance Service what they make of the report we've just put out and how they intend solving the problem, because it really looks dire. When we do get the person on the line, we'll put a few questions to him on your behalf. This is still Midday Live on TV3. Let's turn our attention elsewhere, because the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research of the University of Ghana, Professor Felix Asante, has charged government to ensure that the sustainability of the Planting for Food and Jobs program is instilled. Now, the speaker, speaking at the Youth Forum, he expressed confidence in the program,
which attracted a cross-section of students and entrepreneurs, is intended to collate views of the youth in implementing the Planning for Food and Jobs program. In its 2016 manifesto, the new patriotic party promised to promote agriculture through Planting for Food and Jobs program. This program is aimed at providing 750,000 jobs for the youth, as well as ensuring sustainable food security in Ghana. Deputy Director in charge of Extension at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Paul Siame, said the program will boost Ghana's agricultural sector.
It is always hard to exaggerate the role of food and agriculture in national development. However, I wish to state with certainty that the central goal of the Planting for Food and Jobs is to provide nutritious food and create jobs for the unemployed people of the country, especially the youth. I'd like to assure you all that the government is highly committed to the implementation of this program. Thus, everything is being done within the constraints that government is currently facing to make the program a reality.
He added, farmers will benefit from the fertilizer subsidy program to enhance access for increased crop productivity. Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research of the University of Ghana, Professor Felix Asante, noted the need to sustain jobs created through the Planting for Food and Jobs program is key.
irrespective of whether there's planting for food or no planting for food. I am hoping that those who go into agriculture will be able to earn enough to look after their families. And I think once we're able to do that, we expect that it will reflect in the growth of the economy.
He also reiterated the need to place the youth at the center of decision-making towards national development. The program, which will be rolled out at the start of this year's farming season, will involve the production of maize, rice, soybeans, sorghum, and vegetables.
So this is still Midday Live. Let's go back to the Ashanti region to talk about that particular issue regarding the ambulances that we saw there. We've been joined by Simon Skeura. He is the National Public Relations Officer for the National Ambulance Service. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, TV3.
Yes, I don't know whether you are watching TV3 right now and saw the images that we just showed a few minutes ago. In the Ashanti region, we are told that there are about 14 ambulances, 10 of them broken down, leaving just 4 to serve 17 stations that you have in the region. Has this come to your attention?
Thank you very much. I want to thank your viewers too. In Ashanti region, we have more than 14 ambulances. We have 17 ambulance stations. And currently, we have 10 broken down because of engine problem, and they are parked at our workshop at Ejuso in the Ashanti region. 3 out of the 17 are minor problems, and very soon they will also get back on the road. Currently 4 are working. So that's the correction I want to make here.
Okay, well, the bottom line is, how come you have fewer ambulances to serve the people and have more than half undergoing maintenance or broken down? And the level of breakdown, is it something you can easily repair, or they are damaged beyond repairs?
Thank you again. National Ambulance Service, we acquired these particular vehicles we are using now in 2012. They were used by the state. In 2012, in all, we had 161 ambulances from the government. But ambulance vehicles in general has an expiring date, and since 2012 up to now, they at least every 5 years we're supposed to change these ambulances. But up to now, we're still not having any new one, so we are compelled to use the old one that we have. So that is why currently we are experiencing a lot of breakages. So I earlier stated there are engine problems, and getting the engine for them, we have to import them from the manufacturers.
Okay.
And this is very expensive.
Well, Simmons, unfortunately, the line is breaking. We'll definitely come back to you later on to do an extensive interview on this and how you intend to solve the problem, because reports we have indicate that it's not just the Ashanti region. Greater Accra, the northern part of the country, all have ambulance problems. Trust TV3 to get to the bottom of this story. This is still Midday Live on TV3. We'll be back with sports. Stay with us.
Weekends are a bit like several-hour days put into one for our sport-loving fans. Several top matches, top-level competitions, various sporting disciplines that have been spread across. It can get a bit confusing, but no more because of our new show, Warm Up. What would you do with over £200,000? You can't imagine, right? That is what your favorite footballer, Cristiano Ronaldo, earns per week. Now, let me show you this. That is one of the world's most expensive, a Cognizant CCXR Trivetta, Floyd Mayweather. He cruises into his gym with this. Now, would you like a tour to the Baby Jet Mansion? The Basilica is what it's called. Your Saturday mornings just got better. Join me, Thierry Nyan, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on TV3 and 3FM for more juicy information on your sports personalities and what they'll be doing when they're not kicking for fame and glory.
Butcher. Head goal! Jimmy Butler and a foul. Right out of the timeout. Jimmy Butler attacks the rim. Oh, what a shot. That is absolute. Rinko. Bolt going very near. Comes Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt storming through. He takes it again. Blake.
Sports Station shows every Monday at 9 p.m. on TV3 and is brought to you by Cowbell, Our Milk, Origin Bitters, and Betway.
TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
Business, the heartbeat of every economy. The booze and the chairs of the stock market shows who's making profit and who's crumbling under the harsh business environment.
On Business Focus, we crowd out the noise for you to make informed decisions on your investments. I'm Parkwisi Asare and I talk business.
Business Focus, Mondays, 6 p.m. only on TV3. Brought to you by Asad Tech Roofing, Acacia Health Insurance.
Good afternoon. It's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports with me, Thierry. Now, the search committee for the Black Stars head coach will meet on Monday to consider the outcome of their interviews with the final 3 candidates. On Friday, Kwesi Appiah, Willie Sanyol and Hugo Bruce were interviewed by the 6-member task force. Former French international Willie Sanyol was present at the Lisa Hotel where the interviewing session took place. However, Kwesi Appiah and Hugo Bruce were spoken to via Skype. The decision made on the replacement of Avram Grant at the helm of the Black Stars technical job will be made later this month, with the GFA setting priority of qualifying for the 2018 World Cup, the main objective for the next coach. And then the president of the Ghana Football Association and FIFA Council member, Kwesi Nyantakyi, is of the firm belief he will be confirmed the first vice president of CAF. He explains it will not be a voting process, but possibly a mere formal of approval by the CAF's executive committee.
It's not by election per se. It is by nomination of the president. The president nominates the vice president, and it is endorsed by the executive committee. It doesn't nominate 2 people and say select one or vote for one against the other. He says, this is my candidate for first vice president, this is my candidate for second vice president. So you either accept or you reject. I am pretty confident that based on the discussions that we had, all of us, I mean, informally, we've had some discussions, and there is a great, let's say, to a large extent, there is consensus on Kwesi Nyantakyi. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and wait for 11th of April.
All right, now there's high rising pressure on the head coaches of Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak after match day 9 of the Ghana Premier League. There have been contrasting fortunes for either side in the Ghana Premier League this season, with Kotoko lying top of the table, although Aduana Stars have a game in hand on them. Hearts are enduring a rather difficult season as they are placed 8th, 6 points off their arch rivals and leaders Kotoko. Fans of both clubs are discontent with their results and performances, with Kotoko's Zdravko Lugarisic targeted, although he has led the club to 5 wins and just 1 defeat, the joint best after first 9 games by a Kotoko coach. Hearts fans feel the results and the start and stop attitude do not represent the status of the club and have been agitating for a change of coach or immediate improvement from the team. Hearts were dealt a defeat by Brecum Chelsea at the Golden City Park on Sunday to underline their inconsistency this season, while Kotoko dropped 2 points against Inter Allies. All right, now let's do some tennis. And remember how truly awful 2016 was. Well, Roger Federer is here to save your 2017. Once again, playing tennis at an elegant, breathtaking level. His latest bit of artistry came Sunday against old foe Rafa Nadal in the Miami Open final. So this is exactly the analysis. He's actually won 3 titles in the year 2017 alone, beating Rafa Nadal en route to all the 3 titles. He says he's going to be calling for a break afterwards until the French Open. But this man, again, won his 91st career title at Miami. And that's exactly how we bring an end to today's sports bulletin right here on Midday Live with me, Thierry Nyan. Martin said that stands by.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you very much, Thierry Nyan. For the latest in the world of sports, he didn't talk about Manchester United, though, but we did. All right, time now for entertainment news. Stay with us. We'll be back.
News is brought to you by...
All right, after 12 years of unsuccessful attempts at numerous health centers and religious bodies to gain sight for Christian Morgan, parents of the talented kids contestant believe he is a living testimony. With support from Spread Love Home Abroad NGO, a medical assessment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has proven his condition to be glaucoma.
Christian Morgan hails from Takwan-Suayem in the Western region and is the only child with visual impairment among his 5 elder siblings. The last born of Naomi and Maxwell Morgan is a Class 3 boarding pupil at the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind in the Central region, where the Spread Love Home and Abroad NGO discovered him in 2015. He auditioned for Talented Kids TV reality show last year but failed and made another attempt this year, in which he has won several awards. With a referral letter from TV3 Network, the Spread Love NGO sent Christian Morgan to the Kolebu Eye Clinic to re-examine his condition to confirm whether or not his sight is reversible. Tests began from ophthalmoscopy, where lights were used to see the back of his eye and check the health of his optic nerve, after which a pressure test was done to check the health level of his eyes. Dr. Jefa Oforia J is an ophthalmologist at the Kolebu Eye Clinic.
It's something that he was born with, and there is treatment. There's currently treatment available for such conditions, but due to a few reasons, the child was not able to seek medical help and now is blind in both eyes.
During a visit to Takwan-Suayem, Naomi Morgan, Christian's mother, narrated how the family realized his condition after birth.
I realized his eyes had become bulky a day after his birth, and they kept producing tears, but the problem persisted, even after several health officials had attended to us.
After numerous visits to hospitals without yielding any positive outcome, the parents consulted churches and prayer camps where some men of God reportedly extorted monies from them. At age 2, Christian's interest for music was discovered as he showed keen interest in listening to radio and repeating songs he heard.
He likes music and always wants the radio next to his ears.
Christian Morgan has survived numerous situations, which reassures the family that the child has an unfulfilled dream. Christian Morgan, at the age of 3, we are told, fell into this well when it was in its primitive state and remained in for about 30 minutes before he was rescued, rushed to the Insurim clinic and remained unconscious for about 6 hours. Christian dreams of becoming a music hit maker like Kofi Kinata.
Certainly disability is not inability, and we give him all the moral support we can and wish him all the best in all his endeavors. Okay, so this is still Midday Live. What we'll do now is to bring you the latest in international news.
Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has begun an indefinite strike. Members of the union, which includes oil tanker drivers, are embarking on strike from today over low wages and poor roads. The regional union chairman, Kojent Ojobo, said they will remain on strike until their requests are met. He said the strike, which is national, is bound to cause scarcity of petrol, diesel and kerosene, adding that petrol stations may later join the strike.
And that's it for the bulletin. It came your way from our studio here at Adesanwe. My name is Martin Esiedudati. Thank you very much for watching. Do have a pleasant afternoon. Bye for now.